Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 4049. Which date is 11th of May 2026. It's been almost like a night at 10:07 p.m. All right, the weather is really like a very hot in here. I cannot tell you. Like it's been almost like a 10 p.m. and right now I'm feeling almost like a like basically I'm actually opening my weather app and it says wait it says that 35 degrees Celsius at 10 p.m. 35 degrees Celsius. Literally, it's just like that. Now this is so hot. Like basically, is this now one of the hottest place? Like Africa is actually considered as a kind of like one of the hottest place on the planet. Why? Because of that key, very obvious reason. It's on the equator, kind of like a sunlight directly strike towards that thing. Okay, yeah. But in India, we've been more hotter than Africa. Like literally, just like that. Now, if you kind of like Google top 10 hottest city in the world in 2026 weather pattern, okay, yeah, then you might realize that almost like most of the 10 out of almost like a 5 cities are from India, and specifically Wardha is also one of them too. The where I live, okay, yeah, probably Chandrapur, Wardha, okay, yeah, Chandrapur, Wardha, Vidarbha is a kind of like a bit more like a very hot, yeah, like today's temperature is like boy oh boy. I can't tell you this. Okay, whatever. Let's just jump to the question. All right. Okay, let's go. Okay, so question is, wait, where is it? Okay, how will you protect internal data? Okay, that's a really good question. How do I supposed to be protect internal data? Okay, first of all, what exactly is this question and why am I asking this question to myself? I wanted to build a app called My Artifact. What exactly is this application? Well, when you write the diary every single day, you cannot able to be write the diary the way that you wanted to. Why? Because of that, your thinking process is much more faster than your writing process. Okay, when you start writing, there are a lot of constraint. You need a pen, you need a paper, you need a convenience, spelling mistake, and lot of things. And because of this thing, you cannot able to be execute, or cannot able to be write the way that you want it to be. Okay, and because of this thing, very less people are kind of like simply writing a diary. By the way, writing a diary is a very much essential. Like basically, it's a self-reflection process. You actually connect with yourself when you wrote the diary. Okay, yeah. But because of the writing process is kind of like a bit more, very much kind of like something very tricky and things. That's why very less people are kind of like a writing a diary. But what if instead of writing a diary, what if we could record a diary, like an audio recorded diary? I call them artifact. That audio recording diary, I call that artifact. The things that you are kind of like listening right now is called My Artifact, episode number 4049. I am doing this thing for past 11 years. I am doing this thing every single day. And it's because of this artifact, it adds so much amount of value in myself. The person that I am today, the person that I will become tomorrow, it is all because of artifact. And the amount of value that I get from this thing is just like, oh my god. It's a self-reflection process. Throughout this year, I connect with myself more with this artifact. I understand about me, I understand about my life journey, why do I born. The lot of questions that I have, I get those answer. Still lot of questions are still remaining. Okay, but because of this thing, I connect with myself more. The amount of value that I get from this artifact, I wanted to share this value to the people. I wanted to share this kind of like a things that people should supposed to be record the artifact, and they would supposed to be get the value from the artifact too. But how do I supposed to do that? By building an application. Okay, my application, like my artifact, is a kind of like a YouTube. Okay, in the YouTube platform, you kind of like simply upload your video, other people sees your video. My artifact is a kind of like a same. You record your artifact, upload your artifact, other people listen your artifact. The one thing I'm kind of like a catch is that I'm kind of like a keeping the privacy in my application. No user will know, no one will gonna know what is their real name and things and that. Like my real name, like my name is Saurabh Othare, but my artifact handle name would be a Prozac 1943 or something else. Okay, yeah. Because of this thing, I am kept hidden my privacy. Privacy is very much essential fact about the artifact. Okay, so this is my application. Now, before I wanted to build this application, I wanted to know all the possible consequences, worst possible consequences. What kind of like a challenge I will gonna face when I build this application. I wanted to know everything. Okay, yeah. And I would be aware of that ki what kind of like a possible consequences that I might gonna face, and how do I supposed to be overcome that possible consequences, problem or things and that. Okay, so I went to ChatGPT. I tell my idea regarding about my application. I said that suggest me at least like 100 questions regarding about all the possible consequences, all the possible wrong thing will gonna happen and things and that. So ChatGPT kind of like suggests me hundreds of questions. This is one of those questions. Sorry. So regarding about this question, the question says that how will I protect the internal data? What's the internal data? Well, people will kind of like record the artifact. That recording, that audio file is a data. Okay, yeah. So how do I supposed to be kind of like prevent, or how do I supposed to protect them? Like it's a very much essential because of that you are kind of like collecting such a data which is very much deep thoughts. Okay, yeah. And I don't want that any kind of like a hacker would kind of like came and hack those kind of like information and things and that. So that for that particular process, how do I supposed to be kind of like protect that data? Okay, now before I wanted to execute, let me tell you what kind of like a data that I will have and how do I supposed to be protect those data. Okay, so first of all, I have two kinds of data. First of all, the audio file. Okay, yeah. And another is the user information. Okay, now let me tell you one thing. The user information means like that like right now I am kind of like thinking about privacy, that I am kind of like kept providing the privacy to the people. Okay, yeah. But I am running company. Okay, yeah. So am I kind of like keeping the privacy to the user, or am I also keeping the privacy to myself as well? Like basically is this saying that I also will not gonna know who is the name and things and that. Can I able to do this thing? Like a kind of like some encryption model. Like basically is this thing that end-to-end user will kind of like our entire message is encrypted. Even WhatsApp even knows that thing, that what is exactly the message. So can I able to do this thing? Yeah, but I am not really sure about all the technical aspect regarding about how do I supposed to do this thing in a inscription model and things and that. So basically is this thing that yes, I wanted to do this thing. Also I want that I shouldn't supposed to be kind of like a listen all those people's artifact and things and that. Okay, yeah. I will gonna do the inscription because I'm not really sure about at the moment that how do I supposed to do that. Okay, yeah. Like basically if I'm gonna say like basically this kind of like a technical aspects that I'm not really sure how do I supposed to do this thing. And because of I'm not really sure how do I supposed to do this thing, I'm not really sure how do I supposed to implement that. Okay, yeah. Dude, if you're not really sure about this, how do you supposed to implement that thing? Okay, let me kind of like tell you. Okay, yeah. Right now I'm building the application. Obviously, I am not a coder. I am kind of like a building application by vibe coding. Okay, yeah. By AI agents. I'm kind of like a building this application through agents. Okay, yeah. Now basically is this saying that I am kind of like building this application, but there are so many feature I am not kind of like a include in my application, like a turning application turning kind of like a audio into the subtitle. I'm not really sure how do I supposed to do that. Okay, yeah. Because right now I am the only one who is kind of like building this application. I'm not really sure how do I supposed to do that. Okay, yeah. And basically it's not really that I will not gonna implement. I will gonna implement when I have kind of like a couple of people who are kind of like a really new that how it should supposed to be happen, how the encryption happen, how those features should supposed to be implement and things and that. Obviously it will gonna happen. Okay, yeah. But it's just like that na ki I'm not really sure that na ki how do I supposed to do this thing. So and also is this thing na ki basically before I wanted to add so many feature, I have to be test first to the people. Like basically let I'm trying to understand that ki at least people should supposed to be record the artifact. Like basically if I'm kind of like saying so many things that ki I'm kind of like providing the privacy and things and that and that and that and that and that, what if people doesn't really want that? What if people don't really record artifact? And that is most of the time most of the thing will gonna happen, like people might not gonna record artifact, and that is will gonna true because recording artifact is a kind of like a very awkward process at the beginning, definitely. So basically it's this thing that na ki right now I'm kind of like building this application. I am also not really sure that who will kind of like record the artifact and things and that and will they able to be believe. And because let me tell you one thing now, even if I'm say this thing that it gonna add so much amount of value and things and that will gonna change your life and things and that, people not gonna believe and people will not gonna kind of like record the artifact at the beginning. Why? Is because of that na ki it's a kind of like a trust factor. Okay, now let me kind of like tell you simple example. Okay, let's just say is this thing that ki I build a kind of like a simply application kind of like a Instagram. Okay, does people will kind of like open their platform, like does people kind of like open their account, upload their kind of like a profile photo or kind of like a video or reels on that platform? No, definitely not. Why? Because of that early stages of application, people not gonna believe that. Like basically application will kind of like flourish throughout the time if you are being really consistent and if you are kind of like putting your effort every single day. Obviously people will start believing on your application and things and that and they will kind of like try to believe that ki, okay, let's use this platform. Okay, and every platform is a kind of like every platform the beginning is a kind of like a very worst beginning. Okay, they are not really have any kind of like a user or things and that. Okay, let me kind of like tell you a story. Okay, Angry Bird. Have you played this game, Angry Bird? Okay, it's a very kind of like a popular game, by the way. Almost everyone like knew about the Angry Bird. It's not really that, might be kind of like a very less people who gonna play, but probably everyone knows about the Angry Bird game. Okay, have you ever realized that ki how many attempt the developer did for making the Angry Bird? Like basically how many failure attempt, like literally so much, like literally so much. Yeah, I cannot tell you is this thing. They kind of like a fail almost like a 9 time before they kind of like simply build this Angry Bird game and kind of like simply establish and things and that. After the 9 failure, they kind of like simply execute this Angry Bird game and then it went viral and things and that. Basically failure is a part of the process. Okay, like this is what I realized that na, and I also believe that ki artifact is also kind of like the same. Like even if I kind of like make my application and things and that, people will not gonna kind of like simply upload their artifact. Definitely not. Like a first 5 year of my artifact is a kind of like so much worse. I'm not really sure how do I supposed to manage this thing. Okay, yeah. But it's just like that na ki I have to be started somewhere. Okay, yeah. Because I knew that ki how much it add value on the people when they record the artifact. I knew that because I experienced this thing. Obviously, is this thing that ki it will gonna happen. Okay, so first 5 year would be kind of like a very much crucial. Okay, yeah. Crucial means like that ki very much kind of like a things that na ki people might not gonna record artifact or things and that is will gonna happen. So basically is this thing I don't want to kind of like a bombard so many kind of like a feature and things and that people don't really believe in things and that. At least I just need a kind of like a information from the people point of perspective. Okay, yeah. If the people are kind of like somebody really accept this thing, people want that feature, obviously I will gonna provide everything regarding about that and that. Okay, but before, but still is this thing that na ki encryption model and things, I will gonna do this thing. I will kind of like make sure that ki all the data in artifact are kind of like encrypted. Even the not only the hacker but as well as the kind of like a team of artifact will not gonna kind of like simply interfere with the kind of like a user data and things and that. I will kind of like making sure that will gonna happen. Even I will not gonna have access about all the people of artifact and things and that. Okay, I also want that thing because I will gonna implement the encryption model. Okay, yeah, but still it will take time. Okay, it will not gonna happen just like also the voice cloning, the AI voice cloning and things and that. It will also take times too. Okay, yeah, because I just have to understand regarding about all the possible scenario and consequence and things and that. Like basically audio processing, cleanups and things and that. Okay, like as I mentioned regarding about that key, the app will kind of like detect the noun automatically and trim that particular segment. I also mentioned this thing multiple time. I will gonna implement, but not at the beginning. Okay, okay. At the beginning, I was kind of like only making sure, like at the beginning, what kind of like a privacy thing that I will gonna implement. Okay, first of all, is that key every user they will kind of when they record the artifact they will kind of like get the privacy screen. In that privacy screen, do not mention your name and things and that there is a screen actually appear for 10 seconds. Okay, and people they read that thing and people aware of that key. Okay, we shouldn't supposed to be kind of like a mention our name and things and that. Okay, even if the people kind of like a mention the name and things and that and they are kind of like uploading the artifact, before the uploading they should supposed to be hear the artifact first. Okay, like after they hear their artifact, only and only then they will approve and then they will kind of like simply upload their artifact. Okay, so this is kind of like a only privacy that I'm kind of like a thinking at the beginning. Okay, after a kind of like a only after the people, after I have multiple peoples and things and that, then obviously I will gonna implement all the kind of like a privacy feature and things and that. Okay, but not at the beginning. Okay, because I have very limited sources. Okay, regarding about building application things and that. So yeah, this is kind of like a thing. So that's why I'm kind of like simply try to utilize. But yeah, when I have this all the kind of like resources and things and that, I would gonna implement everything. Okay, but still is this thing regarding about once I will gonna implement all those kind of like a security feature and things and that. So in that situation, how do I supposed to be kind of like a protect the data? Yes, I will gonna do encryption. Okay, this is a kind of like a one thing that I'm doing is this thing. Okay, another thing, yeah, right now I don't, what exactly happened now? Right now my brain is not working. Okay, it's so hot. I'm kind of like a sweating from all like basically it's been almost like a 10 p.m 10:25 p.m. Okay, I'm kind of like a very sweaty from all the things. Okay, and I'm not really good. Okay, I just want to kind of like simply just go inside and kind of like simply stay in front of the cooler and kind of like just take the little bit of kind of like a it's really hot. Okay, like night recording artifact is not really well. Okay, now regarding about the answer is that what kind of like assembly, how do I supposed to protect the internal data? By encryption model. Yes, definitely I was gonna utilize the encryption model, and yeah, this is the kind of like things that I would gonna do. Okay, so this is it, and thank you.